Guys told me that Gogo Skhotheni had announced that she had just gotten baptized. So this particular video that you are seeing here, and on the video you see her being dipped into water a couple of times. So this is not one of those rituals, sangoma rituals or anything like that. This is a baptism, basically. And so now that we are clear that she's been baptized, not just leaving ubungoma, but she might be serious about being a Christian. Now, to be very clear here, we are not sure what church exactly this is from, but it is very clear when a person goes through baptism, it becomes very clear that they are affirming the death or confirming that they believe in the death and the resurrection of Jesus Christ for our sake. In the manner in which she's baptized, she is dipped 3 times. The Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. Okay, so we are clear there. All right? And so we couldn't hear the audio on John chapter number 3 there. What verse was that? Let me see. John 3 verse 5. That's the verse that was displaying on the caption of the thingy. Jesus answered, I tell you, unless a person be born of water and of the Spirit, he cannot enter the kingdom. So I thought that is an interesting verse that she quoted them. So I just wanted to kind of like put it in context and to say the particular term being born in water, it's a Hebrew term for birth, physical birth. It's not baptism. Okay, so just so if we are thinking that's what the verse means, just so that we are clear, the term being born in water is a reference for, and if you remember actually within this conversation, Jesus is talking to Nicodemus, and when he's talking to Nicodemus here, if you read the previous 2 verses, John verse number 3 says, Jesus answered and said unto him, verily, verily, I say unto you, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom, right? So except a man be born again. So this restricts it to man. And the next verse confirms that. Nicodemus then said, how can a man be born while he is old? It's not that Nicodemus was foolish here. It's that Nicodemus is kind of like speaking about himself. Nicodemus, according to the Jewish belief system, had gone all levels of what they would term being born. You know, when a person proselytized from being a thing to converting to Judaism, it was a form of being born again. It was a form. Bar mitzvah, right? So which is another level of being born again. So second level of being born again. When a man got married, that was also seen as being born in another way, right? That was like the third. And then when you became a rabbi and see him saying later on, you're a great teacher, Israel, but you do not know this. So Jesus was showing him there is a mystery to what he is saying. So it wasn't exactly obvious to him. So verse 5 is explaining the question in verse 4 from the statement in verse 3. Verse 3 was, except a man be born again. Nicodemus then asked, how can a man be born when he is already old? He cannot enter his mother's womb. And then Jesus then further explains. So verse 5 is an explanation for that, to say, very, very, I say unto you, except a man be born of water and of the Spirit. The term born of water then, it actually restricts spirits. Within many religions, Catholicism included there, they tend to believe that there is some type of prayer you can do, special prayers you can do for people who are dead that will bring them to be reconciled with God. This verse restricts that. Is that this particular gift can be received only by people, by humans in the body. except a man be born of water. So the birth of water, actually, it's speaking about the woman's water breaking before she gives birth. That's what it is. It's not talking about baptism. Baptism, it's a confirmation. It's us announcing to everybody. Like, you see, there was all this doubt when she said when she said that now she believes in God and ta-da-ta-ta-ta. We're not clear. Like, she was speaking very vaguely. And it's expected. She's new to everything. You know, the problem is when you assume, no, I've been a Christian before. No, you didn't know nothing. That's why you went to Ubungo, all right? And so once we clarify those things, it helps clear things. Yeah. Up until that moment, we didn't know. We had a lot of room of doubt. But when she becomes baptized, it's an affirming, it affirms her faith to everyone. Because baptism is a very specific thing, right? It's identifying, which is what you see in the book of Hebrews. The argument between there is that by baptism you are making an affiliation or an association with Christ. Which is why in Romans is very rigid about saying they must be born again and baptized. It's because they were refusing to do that because it announced it. It's not that it's part of salvation, no. In Romans and in Hebrews, you hear him being that rigid because they were refusing to make an affiliation statement. Baptism is an affiliation statement. You are announcing, hey, if you doubted before, this is what it is. And so even if there was room where people doubted, now they have live before them, before their eyes, that this is what it is. And when you read the next verse, it says, except a man be born of water and of the Spirit. So to be born of water, as I've explained, it restricts being born again to the body, to the person. This can be done only when they are singing. Except a man be born of water and of the Spirit. Being born of the Spirit is the new birth, is being born again. The moment we make our confession to think, we receive it instantly right there. That's what he's talking about. He cannot enter to the kingdom. And then he says, and then this that which is born of flesh is flesh, and that which is born of spirit is spirit. So that's where you see it right there. Being born of water, being what? Physical birth. That which is born of spirit is spirit, being born of the Spirit. Do you see it? The verse literally explains itself. We don't need to input. I'm saying this just for people that might have that misunderstanding of thinking baptism contributes. No, baptism does not contribute. Baptism only states your affiliation. Now we can say, to me is saved. Before we couldn't say because we were not sure. She wasn't speaking with clarity, and it makes sense. She is new to everything, right? So that which is born of the flesh is flesh. That which is born of the Spirit is spirit. So go back to the statement in verse 5. Except a man be born of water, physical birth. Verse 5 just told you, except you be born of water, physical birth, and be born of spirit. You cannot. So he's restricting. You can't. Forgiveness can't be, or being born again can't be for Satan. He can't be born again. Okay. It says the wind blows where it lists, where it lists, and thou hearest the sound. Listen. Thou hearest the sound thereof, but cannot tell where it comes from. You see their body. Why is he saying you see their body, but their spirit man is now something else? That's why he says you can't tell where it goes, right? And he's making an illustration. He's highlighting or focusing in on the separation now of this body and the spirit. So the verse that you quoted there, I thought maybe there might be a confusion there. And so this is why I've said, I really hope she finds a Bible-based church and really sits on that.